She isn't failing to push, she is holding her unborn child hostage inside her own body. Surrounded by million-dollar medical technology, this mother willingly chooses excruciating agony over giving birth.
We're just gonna clean
Why?
up a little bit.
Because to her, this sterile hospital isn't a sanctuary. It's the slaughterhouse that stole her firstborn. Tu Nien Luan Van Han Theo and Hung Qui Lut Tan Kok Va Chin Zak Den Mucvo Tin, Noi Sin Tun Va Due Tri Noi Jong La Ban Nang Nguyen Tui Not Doak Cam Ri Sao Veo DNA Qua Moi Sin Vat Tren Han Tin Nai. Ban Hung, Chien Gse Zara Nu Mot Gay, Mot Sin Vat Hong Da Quiet Din Dung Wai Chi De Quay Lung Lai Voi Chin Tien Goi Sin Tu I. Vong Nguyen Chan 03 Men Chow Qui 6 Va Kak Ban. Ham Ne, Chung Ta Kong Ban V and Hung Phi Vum Non Tai He and Hung Startup Song Ne Han Hoang. Han Ne, Tois E Dua Kak Ban Buk Veo Mot Kong John Gotten Gat, Sang Tang Den and Get Tho Tai Ku Bao Tun Blue Ridge, De Chung Kien Mot Su Kien Wai Qua Ky Dinot Lich Su. Mot ku tat ding nuoi veo nin kio han qua gioi qua ha kien dai von he dacy voi dong mai mak vio tri. Nan vat chin qua chung tala kesai, ko kai. 14 tuoi, dang o geo Thursday 11 qua con chinda. Dung voi hin dung v mot tsai chuang Thursday hoi ham, boi fong sin luke naila mot feo dai yte tuk Thursday tri jia hung tru du la. Voi he thong monitor chop nai lin hoi, mai siu am net sang den tung millimet va doing guchien gia max scrub tuc truck dong down. Zet tren moi phuong dien sin hok, de la motca, go live, hon hao. Tai nhi de tut soang dung 6 tri, ko tu kung mo du, nip tim hai mi con dap nip hang. Lu ra, chi kan kasai dung chut suc luke de dua tre ra nagwai. Mot sin men moi si chin tuk chow doi. En hung su that dang dien ra lai keen en hung bo o si tai soi not fi tim mat v bat luke. Kasai kien quiet tu choi randa. Jua en hung con go tu kung dao don xe thit, tai du qua ko tin lang emoti. Catch dang so. Kong he ko tiang gam gu, kong ko su hong lon kan xe he jia jua de tu ve nu qui lut thong thuan. Then Hindu so nong gon mot ta iep chat veo buk tuong bi tong lan leo, hai kan te quan ko bap gong len om ku late sai bung bao dang rung len tung dot. Ko I dang kim nin, dung ton bo suc man de chom lai tau hoa. On mat den tam qua kasai kong nin veo dam dong bacsi, ma gim chat veo kan qua kin quang luke. Ko I mang dung dap qua mot na sang lap don dok dang gong min julai duan ton hiet not, the chiu dung sutra tan the zak chu not quiet kong tung ra ti truong mu chua doi duok 6 ko dong chien luok duwe not ma ko tin tuong. Ju ke qui gi dang tuk su dien ra ben trong tom tri qua sin vat nong hung ta I. Bong ma qua ku now dang bop and get ban nong lam mi, keen ko chan chien luok fong Thursday tu cuc dan muc dot mang chin min. Chik chan, dang sao su goen ko nai la motb mat du suc lam nak nuoi bat cuai. Truok kai toa lat mo quan ho so yte dam nuok mat qua kasai de foi bai su that zot xe ne. Kak ban hey dan ra dung 3ga, nan nut dang ky ken va like video.
Both mother and baby
Suong
are
ho
healthy
qua
and
kak
doing
ban chin la
incredibly well.
ongwan dong luk song con de ken kong by thuat ton vui dap, jup tua tip tuc dao sao va mang den and hung ke study kuok doi chat luong nu the night. Zong chua. Chat de and ton veo, chung ta kung di tim su that. To understand the paralyzing fear gripping this magnificent creature in the delivery room, we must first rewind the tape to a dark chapter that shattered her innate maternal instincts. 5 years ago, Kasai was a first-time mother, standing at the threshold of what should have been a biological triumph. But it wasn't a celebration, it was a hostile takeover of her motherhood. Her firstborn arrived prematurely, fragile and violently struggling for every single breath. The scene that followed was an exact replica of the nightmare playing out today, the same sterile, blindingly bright environment, the same chaotic symphony of flashing monitors, and the same overwhelming rush of humans dressed in clinical blue scrubs swarming her intimate space. They heavily sedated her, forcibly extracted her infant to an intensive care incubator, and despite their relentless medical heroism, the baby did not survive the night. In Keisai's deeply intelligent and emotionally complex mind, the equation forged in that acute trauma was brutally simple: delivering a baby equates to handing it over to the Grim Reapers in masks. The clinical perfection of this modern, million-dollar delivery room isn't a safety net to her, it is the very slaughterhouse where her first offspring was stolen. She isn't just refusing to push, she is engaging in the ultimate biological filibuster. She is holding her child hostage inside her own body to protect it from the sterile horrors of the outside world, willingly choosing the excruciating agony of a prolonged labor over the unbearable grief of another loss. This was a purely defensive corporate strategy executed by a traumatized founder, completely refusing to release her most valuable asset into an ecosystem she fundamentally believed would destroy it. Yet, amidst this sea of white coats, blinding surgical lights, and screaming medical alarms, Keisai's desperate, unwavering gaze remained locked on that reinforced glass door, waiting for the only human who had ever successfully navigated the wreckage of her shattered trust. Enter David. He isn't a man of sterile protocols, rigid administrative schedules, or cold, calculated medical interventions. He was the senior behavioral ecologist who, 5 years prior, sat outside her concrete enclosure in the freezing rain for weeks on end after her tragic loss. He offered no sedatives, commanded no invasive tests, and forced no interactions. He simply provided a quiet, grounding, and deeply empathetic presence. David had spent years methodically rebuilding her fractured psyche, slowly depositing invaluable emotional capital into a profoundly broken soul when the rest of the scientific community had written her off as an unstable, aggressive liability. To Keisai, he wasn't just a handler or a biological observer, he was the ultimate guarantor of her safety, the sole strategic investor who consistently backed her when she was viewed as a completely depreciated asset. But in a catastrophic oversight of upper management, David had been abruptly reassigned months ago, currently stationed hours away at a sister conservation facility. The board of directors overseeing this state-of-the-art hospital completely failed to factor in the emotional framework, arrogantly assuming a high-tech facility and top-tier veterinarians were the only variables needed to ensure a smooth delivery. They gravely underestimated the indelible memory of a grieving mother and the indispensable value of psychological safety. Keisai was holding out, pushing her physical limits and risking a fatal system failure for both herself and her unborn child, simply because her lead investor wasn't at the negotiating table to guarantee the terms of survival. As the monitors began projecting a terrifying narrative and the fetal heart rate plunged dangerously into the red zone, the heavy glass door finally swung open to reveal the very lifeline she had been risking everything for. David rushed into the room, breathless and still wearing his damp street clothes, completely and unapologetically bypassing the strict, sterile scrub-in protocols that the medical team worshipped. You could feel the collective, paralyzed gasp of the highly trained room, but David's eyes ignored the fury of the lead surgeons, they were fixed solely on the massive, violently trembling mother backed into the corner. He slowly lowered himself to the cold concrete floor, deliberately making himself small and vulnerable, instantly stripping away the evolutionary hierarchy of man and beast. He locked eyes with Keisai and let out a low, rhythmic, rumbling vocalization, a highly specific guerrilla dialect meaning absolute safety, a primal translation of, "I am here, and I will not let them take this one." The transformation was instantaneous, defying every known medical metric. The invisible, impenetrable fortress Keisai had built around her traumatized mind shattered into a million pieces. The tense, rigid, heavily muscled arms that had been aggressively shielding her abdomen finally relaxed, and for the first time in 11 grueling hours, she let out a long, ragged, exhausted breath. She never needed a team of award-winning doctors, she needed a witness she could implicitly trust. With David pressing his bare hand against the glass, nodding in a silent, unwavering approval, Keisai closed her eyes, anchored herself to his presence, and finally surrendered to the brutal force of nature by bearing down to push. The birth of a perfectly healthy, fiercely screaming infant just moments later wasn't merely a triumphant medical victory,
Look how
it
long-
was a profound, industry-shaking testament to the unspoken power of genuine connection. As Keisai tenderly cradled her newborn, shielding the fragile life with a fierce but incredibly gentle embrace, the multi-million-dollar machines flashing in the background suddenly felt entirely useless, rendered utterly obsolete by the raw power of a simple, quiet bond. There is a brutal, yet profoundly beautiful lesson embedded in this delivery room that entirely transcends the primitive boundaries of the animal kingdom and bleeds directly into our modern boardrooms, our ambitious startups, and the daily grind of our human lives. We live in an era obsessed with infrastructure, with analytics, with building bulletproof, automated systems and throwing endless capital at complex problems, foolishly believing that technological optimization is the ultimate savior. But Keisai, an ape backed into a corner, proved definitively that the most sophisticated hardware in the world cannot, and will never, override a fundamental lack of trust. In business, as in nature, you can possess the most flawless launch conditions, the ultimate product market fit, and all the venture capital in the world, but if the core trust between partners is broken, your stakeholders will dig their heels in and choose mutual destruction over a compromised surrender. True leadership isn't about perfectly managing the monitors or enforcing sterile protocols, it's about having the courage to sit in the rain, to speak the language of the vulnerable, and to be the exact person someone desperately waits for when their world is tearing apart. This is Vong Nguyen Chan 03, reminding you that sometimes, the most profitable, life-saving investments we will ever make are never found on a financial spreadsheet, but secured deep within the unseen, immeasurable ledger of human trust. The story of Keisai and David transcends a simple wildlife rescue. It is a profound masterclass in the mechanics of trust and the absolute limitations of purely clinical or systemic solutions. We frequently construct multi-million-dollar environments, whether they are state-of-the-art hospitals, high-tech corporate offices, or flawlessly optimized operational workflows, arrogantly believing that immense resources and elite expertise alone guarantee success. Yet, Keisai's paralyzing fear and her ultimate breakthrough reveal an undeniable universal truth: unaddressed trauma and broken trust can completely derail even the most perfectly engineered systems. David did not bring new medical equipment, advanced surgical techniques, or financial capital to that delivery room. He brought a proven history of radical empathy, consistent presence, and undeniable psychological safety. He was the ultimate strategic investor who recognized that emotional capital is just as vital as physical infrastructure. By deliberately abandoning rigid, sterile protocols to meet Keisai at her most vulnerable level, he instantly dismantled a biological filibuster that a room full of highly decorated experts could not solve. This narrative forces us to completely reevaluate our own metrics of success. It reminds us that behind every stalled project, every intensely resistant team member, or every failing relationship, there is almost always an underlying deficit of trust rather than a lack of competence. Ultimately, Keisai's safe delivery proves that genuine connection is the ultimate infrastructure. Without it, all our sophisticated tools are rendered utterly obsolete. With it, we can navigate the most terrifying vulnerabilities and secure true victory. The most sophisticated infrastructure, advanced technology, and immense financial capital are entirely useless without the foundational element of trust and psychological safety. Empathy and genuine human connection are not merely soft skills, they are the most critical, high-yielding components of effective leadership, team management, and crisis resolution. Whether you are leading a corporate startup, managing a team, or navigating complex personal relationships, stop relying solely on strict rules, cold logic, or financial incentives to solve deeply human problems. When someone resists, a project stalls, or communication breaks down, pause and look past the surface-level metrics to find the underlying fear or shattered trust. Invest your time in active listening, consistently show up for people during their dark, freezing rain moments, and willingly strip away the hierarchy to meet them exactly where they are. Build your emotional capital during the quiet times so it is readily available during a crisis. Cultivate an environment where your employees, friends, and family feel fundamentally safe to be vulnerable. Have you ever experienced a situation in your work or personal life where genuine trust and empathy solved a difficult problem that money, rules, or technology simply couldn't? Please leave a comment below to share your thoughts and experiences so our entire community can learn from your perspective. If you found value in this profound lesson, please subscribe to Vong Nguyen Chen 03. Your subscription and support give us the tremendous motivation needed to keep producing more impactful, high-quality content for you.